Okay, this is a quick progress update regarding my final year project. Today's the 16th of October, and I've just recently got multiple textures working for the first time. The solution that I've come up with is not optimal at all. In fact, I need to actually pretty much redesign the entire code related to this. However, I just wanted to make a quick video documenting that I've actually been able to render multiple textures to different objects at the same time, which is a first for me. As you can see, we have the Earth here and then the Sun. That is supposed to be the Moon. I just put a different texture on it. And yeah, so the way this is working, it's mainly related to how Vulkan handles descriptors, descriptor pools, descriptor sets. Essentially, each of these textures get loaded from the file system onto the CPU. They put into a staging buffer, which then the GPU can actually obtain and actually store those textures and copy those textures onto GPU local memory, because obviously we want anything which is going to be rendered to be stored on the GPU for extremely quick memory access, because we don't want to be going through the GPU bus, getting memory from the RAM, or maybe from CPU cache, but from RAM, because that's extremely slow, and the more textures you have, the more basically assets in general, then the bandwidth is going to increase, and that's just you're going to get low FPS. So we want to store as much as we can on the GPU in GPU memory. So that is what we do when we load the textures. We put it into a staging buffer, then it gets copied over to device local memory. So the actual data is there. It's just that in order to apply textures, so having textures in GPU memory is one thing, but in order to actually get those textures and apply it to certain objects is a different matter. And the way we do this is by using descriptors, which is, to me personally, at the moment at least, quite a complicated topic or a complicated area for me. Hopefully over the next few days, few weeks, I'll better understand how descriptors work. But the general theme is you describe to Vulkan the structure of your bindings, right? Where are those textures located, how you're going to access them, which shaders, which GPU programs are going to access them from, and by doing all of that, we can then assign each entity will have a description, a description of which textures it uses, where in memory it is located, and so when we go to draw everything, it simply looks up that information in terms of memory address and just data, and then gets that rendered onto the screen. So as you can see here, like I said, we have the Earth and the Sun. I think it's pretty cool. I'd be much happier once the code is actually properly implemented. At the moment it's just quite hacky in a way, trying to get it as quickly as possible done. Now that I know it kind of works, I need to redesign it and like I said, further understand how all of this works. We do have from the previous update, we do have some basic UI rendering thanks to IMGUI. The way this is done, previously I was trying to get those two rendered at the same time. However, I would only see the very last thing that got rendered, and this was actually an issue related to render passes. So at the moment, I render the entire scene in one pass, and then what happens, I store those and save those contents, and then pass that data onto the next render pass, which is the UI, and then those two get combined and then produce this final image. So this UI is going to really help when just basically interacting with the world and the engine settings. And yeah, in the future I want to have this be able to change and toggle these options, and the engine will automatically adjust. So again, this UI is mainly for debugging, and hopefully not too long in the not too distant future we're going to have a lot more functionality there. So anyway, that's my progress report done, and hopefully we can continue to make steady progress.